Hello and welcome to the first of these weekly vlogs I'm doing. So the footage in the background is something I found on my storage hard drive. It's recorded in Shadowplay and it's just some old Battlefield 4 footage. Last week has been mainly taken up with building the upgraded PC. So I started that last weekend. It took longer than I thought, basically because I built it, tested it, benchmarked it, then took it apart again, built it properly, did all the cable management, had to mod the case a bit, which I wasn't expecting, but now it's all together and all working fine. In fact, it's what I'm recording this on. The old components I removed, I'm going to build into a second PC. Now this is basically just going to be a backup PC. So if I have a problem with my PC, I can just switch over, or if somebody else needs a PC, or I'm going to go gaming at my friend's house, I can take this one rather than taking my big hefty machine. I've ordered a case off eBay which has come from a company that I think does LAN events or trade shows, something like that. So a PC's been built into it, then they've stripped it down because it's actually been at a show. The case has got a few scuff marks on it, so I bought that for like £25 for a Corsair case. Really cheap. In fact, there's only one thing that I'm buying new for this second PC, and that's a power supply. I'm not going for a cheap nasty unbranded one that you can get off eBay. I've gone for a decent branded 500 watt bronze power supply, which was like £30 off eBay. That's the only thing I'm buying new. Everything else is pretty much stuff that I put away because it might be useful. So I've still got a 7970 HD graphics card because I kept one of those as a backup. I've still got a 1TB hard drive because I kept it because it might be useful. I've got the SSD, the motherboard, the processor and memory out of the old build. I've got the H100 cooler out of the old build. So pretty much everything is going to be recycled apart from the power supply. Now I'm not going to do a build video on that because you've seen essentially that PC before, just in a different case. The parts I've ordered should be arriving next week, so I'll probably build that over the week, and in the next vlog video I can tell you how it went. On the subject of PCs, somebody asked me if I would be putting a 1080 in my PC when I upgraded it. The answer is no. Basically, I'm quite happy with a 980 Ti. 1080 is money that I don't need to spend. The 1070 is cheaper, but to be honest it's got around the same performance as the 980 Ti. So I might as well stick with a 980 Ti. It's perfectly good for pretty much any games that are out there at the moment. There are some new features with the 1080 and 1070, but they're not things I'm going to use. I'm not going for VR and I don't game across multiple monitors. I do have multiple monitors, but the games only run on one. They don't sort of split screen or wrap round. That's really the advantage of the new 1080s and 1070s. Yes, they are faster, but I can run Battlefield 4 or Battlefront at over 120 frames a second. I've got a 120Hz monitor, so that is good enough. There's no point me getting a graphics card that's capable of doing 4K because I only have a 1080p monitor. So no fancy new graphics cards for me. The only graphics card that does interest me is the new AMD 480X, which appears to have the performance of an R9 390 but only cost $199. Supposedly out in the end of June, I think. Now it's not a cutting edge card, but if you can get R9 390 970 levels of performance for $200, when both of those cards cost what, $350, $360, half price gaming is gotta be good. That's the hardware out of the way, let's get on to games. So a question I was asked in the comments is, am I going to be playing Overwatch? I have no plans in the immediate future to buy Overwatch or play it. It's one of those games where you've got to put the hours in to learn the characters and learn the maps and get good at it, and at the moment I just can't put those hours into a new game. I'm not really playing Battlefield 4 at the moment. I have just got back to the stage where I can kind of sit at my PC and do some work, but only for short periods of time. I can't sit here all evening gaming, so no, I'm not going to be getting into any new games. Once I'm back into the swing of things and recovered a bit more, then yes, I'll get back into gaming. Whether I'll look at Overwatch, I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of Team Fortress 2 or that style of game, so I'm not really sure if Overwatch is going to be my kind of thing. I think the first new game, although it's not new anymore, that I will go back and play when I'm fully recovered is Doom, because I want to play the Doom single player and I haven't played that yet. So Overwatch no, Doom probably. I haven't even got round to playing the new Fallout 4 DLC, the Harbour one, so yeah, I'm going to have lots of catching up to do, but at the moment, no plans to do any gaming. And I guess that leads me on to the health stuff. So the recovery is going, it's happening, it's slow, but it's getting better. I've started being able to take a bit of exercise, so I now go out for a walk every day. Not very far. I started off doing about half a mile in a lap around the area. Now I can do about a mile. I'm still kind of slow, but I've got to build up my muscles again and basically, get used to walking around. I don't drive and I don't ride a bike because of my eyesight, so I used to just walk everywhere. But over the last year, with 2 different surgeries, the chemo, the radiotherapy and the pain I was in at the early stage of the treatment, I basically just haven't walked anywhere, and after a mile I'm completely out of breath, whereas before I could just bung some supplies in my little rucksack and walk and walk and walk. So it is going to be a slow progress in terms of fitness to get back. In terms of the actual recovery from the surgery, that is getting more comfortable. There is still some discomfort. Basically, because I can now start doing more, that means that the wounds that I have, which are basically still scar tissue, they start to move and stretch, and therefore they become uncomfortable and sometimes painful. So it's basically a matter of taking things slowly, not overexerting myself. When I was moving my PC around, I had to get somebody else to do it because I physically can't pick it up without straining areas that I shouldn't be straining. So it is just a matter of adapting. I think we're probably looking at another couple of months to be fully back up and running, so I would have thought end of July, beginning of August, that kind of time frame before I'm fully recovered from the surgery. They did say that the initial period of recovery, basically for all the wounds to heal, was going to be a couple of months, and then it would be a couple of months after that before things became more normal again. So 4 months is April, May, June and July, so we are still on track, and the recovery is the most important thing I've got to do at the moment. So I'm taking things easy, not overexerting myself, and because I've had bowel cancer, I've got wounds in my stomach and I've got wounds in my backside, so I really don't want to be sitting at a PC for long periods of time. That's why there's no gaming videos. So I think that's it for this little update. Covered the hardware build, a bit of gaming and a bit of health stuff. If you do have any questions, then please stick them in the comments below and I'll try and get round to answering them in the next one. Thanks for watching.